into a new month. This is March. Happy March, everybody. And this is going to be our theme for the month of March. It is grace upon grace. So we're talking about grace this month. And so today, our topic today is going to be, what is grace? What is grace? Baby, don't hurt me. Today, my wife and I celebrate 24 years of marriage today. So, what is grace? What Sonia has towards me is it is a cool thing. So, almost as long as I've been married, almost 24 years, has also been a streak that I've had of no speeding tickets. You can clap for that too. Until January. And so here's what happened. And I didn't find out till a couple weeks ago. They didn't pull me over. I got a letter in the mail. Some secret camera somewhere is like, caught ya. And I'm still not completely convinced that it was me and not Sonia, because we can't see who's driving. And I'm pretty convinced it's Sonia, but again, this is grace. I take it upon myself. It's all my fault. So now I remember my first speeding ticket. It was way back when, and I was actually managing a coffee shop, so I had to get up really, really early, which is not my forte. But I got up one morning. I was like, oh no, I'm late. So I jumped in my car and I just take off, breakneck speed, rush hour, which is a great feeling. It's such a good feeling. It's like Christmas morning when you see the lights, Christmas lights, in your rearview mirror, like, oh, this is great. So I got pulled over. He gave me a ticket for going way too fast. And then, so later that day, after work, I had a friend meet me there, and he was riding with me, and I don't want to disclose too much. It was a long time ago. Statute of limitations is up. I changed clothes while I was driving. Anyway, it's a skill. It's a skill. Don't try this at home. I'm a different person. I've come to know the Lord. And so we were driving, and we were going to a place, a nonprofit, to do some serving there, and because that's what I do. And so we were actually, seriously, we were going to serve at this nonprofit, and same day. He pulled me over, and I was like, this is awful. The officer's like, sir, have you ever been pulled over for speeding before? I said, yes, sir. Yes, officer. He said, when was that? I said, this morning. I think it was you, actually. Was it you? I said, this morning I got pulled over. And he's like, oh, man. He said, if I give you a ticket, they're going to take your license from you. You can get 2 in a day, man. He said, just slow down, lead foot, and just take your time. And he let me off with a warning. So I deserved a ticket. He withheld what I deserved, and that is called mercy. He showed me mercy. Mercy is withholding what we deserve. We don't get what we actually deserve. That is mercy. Now, if the officer had said to me, Chris, you got to have a ticket, man. I can't not write you a ticket. So he writes a ticket out, and then he takes out his checkbook and writes the amount of the ticket and says, I'll cover the cost. That's grace. Grace is getting what we don't deserve. So the difference between grace and mercy is someone withholding what we deserve. Grace is getting what we absolutely don't deserve. The best definition I've come across is this. The grace of God is unconditional love and acceptance given freely by an unobligated giver to an undeserving person. Grace is not a theme of the Bible. Grace is the theme of the Christian life. It is the theme. It's the only hope that we have. It's the only hope that any believer has is grace. I want to read this to you. This is beautiful verses in John chapter 1, verses 14 and 17. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us. And we saw his glory as the only begotten from the Father, full of grace and truth. John testified about him, that's John the Baptist, cried out saying, "This is the one whom I said, he who comes after me is a higher rank than I am. He existed before me. For of his fullness we have all received grace upon grace. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth were realized through Jesus Christ." The word realized there is, the root word is genomai, which means came into existence. It wasn't here before Jesus. So Jesus is the grace of God personified. The law was given through Moses. The law is a business arrangement. It's a contract. So we have a contract under the law. As long as we keep our end of the bargain, God keeps his end of the bargain. So if we do our part, then God will do his part. It's reciprocal. It is something that we as modern humans understand completely. If you do this, you get this. It is based on merit. It's based on deservedness. Makes total sense to us. The problem with this bargain, the problem with this contract is that in a million years, we can never hold up our end of the bargain. And as self-assured as people can be, and as good as some people think they are, it is absolutely impossible for us to fulfill our end of the bargain as it relates to the law of God. The law of God is not try your hardest, do your best, God will do the rest. The law of God is be perfect as my Father is perfect. No one can do that. Pretty good, good enough, doesn't cut the mustard. We're going to, hopefully tonight, my wife and my daughter and I are going to paint along with Bob Ross. It's pretty awesome, right? And so Bob Ross was famous for saying, it's just a happy mistake. It's a happy accident. It's no big deal. There's no mistakes. It's all good. It's all good. You dropped the paint all over the floor. No biggie. It's all good. There's no happy accidents with God. It is perfect or it's not. And we don't measure up to perfect. But the good news is, because we can never climb to God, Jesus came down. So Jesus fulfilled our end of the bargain. Jesus is perfect as his Father is perfect. He's the only one that can be. And then he credits that perfection to all of us. Not because we deserve it, because he loves us. That is grace. That's the grace of God. In other words, Jesus paid our ticket for us. He took out his checkbook and he paid our ticket. Now, we're saved by grace through faith. Our right standing with God is secured forever. It is not changing. It is not a moving target. It is completely secure because the one who could actually do the securing did the securing for us. And now we are saved by his grace. And that's it. His grace wasn't just enough for us to squeak by. It's more than enough. It's more than we could ever hope for. So when the Bible says his grace is sufficient, it doesn't mean it's just enough. It's sufficient, meaning you'll never need all that you're given. It is more than you could ever imagine. Grace upon grace upon grace.